Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I am going to create a project that is part of my Altenew Educator Certification program, and it's all about layering. I'm also stamping with some pink colors for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as this is October. Be sure to go over to my blog at jennyhalldesign.com and grab your free PDF tutorial for this project. It may have some tips and tricks that will really help you with this technique. I'm working with Altenew's Antique Roses stamp set, and it is so gorgeous. And I'm also using some Altenew mini ink cubes. Did you ever notice that on the back of the ink cubes there is a collection name? And that way you can look and see what the collection is, and sometimes it corresponds to a stamp set, sometimes it doesn't. But those colors are paired together specifically to work really well, and especially with layered stamping. So I'm going to use those, and I've listed the products up on the top of the screen as to which collection I'm using, and then be sure to check the video description as well, because it will also show you exactly which stamps and ink cubes that I used. So I'm starting from the lightest color and progressing to the darker colors in that collection, and the lighter color is going to go with the dark or the most solid image. So the first was that really light pink, and now we're going to use the next color up with the second stamp that is in this progression. Altenew has made a guide that goes with the stamp set, and it tells you exactly where to line up the stamps. Not just in one place either. They have made it so easy to line the stamping that there's a couple of different places that, as long as you get really close, doesn't have to be exact, it will look great. And their inks really do stamp off well. If you have not had a chance to try the mini cubes or the full-sized stamp pads from Altenew, their crisp dye inks are excellent, and they stamp to the paper so beautifully. Even the mini cubes, if you haven't tried them, they're a real economical way to be able to build up your color supply. I keep referring back to that stamping guide to make sure that I have all of the landmarks of where I'm supposed to put down the stamp. And it's easy enough for me to be able to see, but I do have a very important tip. Using a stamp positioner such as the MISTI that you see here really helped give me the confidence to be able to know that I am putting the stamp down in the right place. If I were to use a clear acrylic block to stamp this down, my eyesight is very poor and I would not have been able to get it in the right place at all. So a very important tip is to try a stamp positioner. Once I get this first rose stamped, and it's just absolutely beautiful, then I'm using a second set of pink cubes. This is the Rose Petal collection, and it has 4 inks, and I grabbed another ink to make that fifth for that little teeny tiny stamp. And that's another great thing about the inks, is that I can just pull one from another collection and they all work together beautifully. I'm stamping this flower. This is not the same flower as the first one, but I'm stamping it in exactly the same manner, and it really is. It's absolutely beautiful. And as I'm stamping this, my brain is thinking of all the color combinations that I could use, such as mixing some blues and purples together, or maybe some very luscious, deep, dark purples. My sister has a purple rose that she likes, and it's almost so dark purple that it's black. And I thought it would be so nice to be able to achieve that kind of depth. And then I'm thinking peace roses and all kinds of roses, or fire and ice roses. There's lots of possibilities that I can see with this. I'm using a collection of greens to stamp in exactly the same way. and referring back to the guide. That guide is so important. And I can see, you know, if I use this stamp set more than once or twice or thrice, then I might not have to refer back to the guide, but I've definitely used it to start off with. And this was my first time to stamp with this stamp set. I'm using the corresponding dies, and I die cut these on my Gemini Junior die cut machine. That's the electric machine, which, by the way, is wonderful. I have trouble with my shoulders at times, and the Gemini is perfect. And I'm using one of Altenew's birthday stamp sets because the Antique Roses does not have any sentiments to create a birthday sentiment. I'm making this for one of my best friends who I missed her birthday, just completely spaced out on it, and I wanted to make a card for her that was specifically made for her. It wasn't just something that I pulled out of my stash and sent along, but I felt like I needed something in the background. So Morning Frost is a very light gray ink, and I just grabbed one of those leaf images. It doesn't have to be a perfect leaf. Added a few little pieces of background color, and then used a brush marker from Arteza, and it's a light gray, and that was enough to be able to make some splatters to kind of draw the eye away from the flowers. I want the flowers to stand out, but I also want there to be something to draw the eye away. And I'll finish this off with some Nouveau stone drops, and I think these are called granite, but they're absolutely stunning. Be sure you don't miss that free PDF over at my blog, and I try to create a PDF for all my projects. Sometimes I miss one or two, but I would love to hear whether you guys are grabbing the PDF, because that would help me be able to know whether I should keep making them or not, because I'd love to keep helping you guys out. Thank you for watching today, and I hope to see you next time.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day!